Hey, 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 family. Welcome back. I wish I would stop doing that. It is so churchy, but it is so embedded. I can't get rid of it. But I'm gonna have to because I don't like it. But anyway, welcome to the Untethered Heart podcast. We are back. This is the last episode of the season. It is crazy that we are here. I finally figured out how to add my co-host while I'm introducing, so I ain't got to go back and get her and stuff. So hey, girl, hey,
Hey, yo.
welcome back. How was your day?
It was a day, but nevertheless, it's been good.
Well, I'm happy to see you. I know that the people will be too when they start getting on. But I am just excited. I finally found this document so we can start saying, look, I wait till the end of the season to find the document, right? Um Most of it
Cool.
was me forgetting to pull it up, but I actually was able to find it today because a lot of times I was waiting, but couldn't remember where to find it. So I'm really grateful that we finally found this document that is going to help me invite you all in to understand what this podcast is all about. So when you join us next season, when you play all the replays, you will have an idea of what birthing the untethered heart is about. And so here we have a calling to repair and untether the hearts and souls of men and women, babies and children, anybody who is spiritually, physically, and emotionally um, tethered to trauma, to things that have hurt them, to things that have held them captive from moving in their purpose. So, this is not a religious platform. However, we absolutely believe in Yahweh. So, you will hear language in regard to how we use his word as a strategy, how we use his word to help us, we use his word and our connection to him and relationship with him to change us. So we but the whole point and what we strive to do is to present strategies that will help rebuild people's lives, those who have been tethered to pain or tethered to hurt or whatever the case may be, including us sometimes. Because listen, in 2025, life is indeed life. And so we want to make sure we address the heart, the mind, the spirit, and the soul, and bring um, not just healing, but also awareness to everything that is happening within our lives and within our world. So, welcome. Just in case this is your first time, welcome. We are glad to have you, and we're looking forward to see what you got to say in those comments. But today, again, this is my beautiful co-host. I did not say her name. Maybe I need to go back to bring you on camera so I can make sure I say your name, Miss Shara Forty. But we are very real here. I don't have the capacity to be anything but me. So you might hear me say something I ain't got no business saying sometimes. You
Mm.
might hear me be very, very real. Listen, she will send me a text real quick and be like, hey, you doing too much. You doing too
Mm.
much. I was almost exposed on the show one time.
Yeah.
It's
That's
been
priceless.
that was pretty hilarious. So I'm just happy that we have made it this far. Shara, I just want to ask you really quickly. First, we're going to do the first thing we do is we take time to share. So if you see us looking down on our phones, just know that we are not ignoring you or being rude, but we are sharing together the link for the show so that we can get people to be a part. So if you haven't done so already, whether you are watching live or whether you are watching the replay, take a moment, if you will, to share the live.
Share the
Did you
love.
see the live? Because I don't see the live.
I had to go to your actual MV page and it was in the circle only.
It's really weird. It's my
It's on my
phone
page
and I
though.
can't do it.
It's on my page. I was able to share it already.
It's really weird. I'm going to switch to my, to be Angela Nicole MB and see what happens. There it is.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Oh, we do have people here.
Hey, welcome, welcome, welcome. Oh, God, I did it again.
Really? You think you just talk about that?
It's like I
Come
hear it
on,
in my head, like it's like a voice. Welcome, welcome,
girl. You
welcome.
sound you somewhere
It's not just
between
church
church.
though. It's
You somewhere
also
between church and
Carolina
Texas
Kitchen.
Roadhouse, okay?
It's Carolina Kitchen because I work next door now, so I
That's
spend way
ridiculous.
more time there than I did before. So that's really what it is because they do that every time you walk in the door. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
It's
Anybody got that good
annoying.
Carolina Kitchen? That good Carolina Kitchen, it'll get you quick. But we have an
Mm,
excellent guest today. Hey,
yes, we
mommy.
do.
My mommy's here.
That's
Thank
what I
you
said.
for
You hear me
joining
say
us,
hello?
mother.
You mean
Huh?
she was the first person in chat tonight?
I just saw it. I literally just looked up and saw it. Yes, but you doing the thing, Mama. There's Mama Annette Willis. Hey, Mama
Hey, mommy.
Annette, thank you for joining us. She's the real VIP. I don't know if we've ever had a show and she not be on. Like
That part.
literally,
I don't know what it would be like without her.
all 3 seasons. I don't know what it would be
Oh,
like. I don't want to find out either.
mm,
But I know she gonna have a busy life, so we're
yeah,
gonna have to be used to her in the replay soon.
yeah,
But I appreciate that we have her now. Really
nevertheless.
grateful. So if you haven't already, please share the link. Share with friends, send a few texts. We're gonna
Mm-hmm.
get the people talking today.
That part there.
So back to the question, while I finish sharing, because I just found it. Um uh what
I told
what
you she was live. You thought I was playing. I knew she said she was going live. She did.
who, mommy?
Correct.
Oh dang. Carissa, we love you. We gonna watch
We
after
do.
we get off this live.
We
Soon as
are.
we done.
It's soon.
We gonna be
Promise.
catching that replay, honey. If
Yeah.
you don't know Carissa White, y'all better
Take
go
it.
follow, go
The
find, go search,
financial
and
guru.
get to know her
King.
because she is a voice for this time and also an amazing gift, and will
One.
also be an amazing gift to your finances. So
Yeah.
yeah, prophetic voice of our time and a gift
Yes.
to your finances. You will thank me later for sure.
Mhm.
And that means you, Auntie Sybil, because I know you're gonna be on here as soon as I send you this text. So please make sure you call her and make sure y'all do what y'all gotta do
Okay.
and get y'all some business in knowing the
Yes.
Miss Corica White. But anyway, Sister Shara, what was some of your favorite moments of season 3 before we pull our guest on?
Oh, whew. Uh, of course, it had to be our first guest for the season. They they set a tone that was very different than any other guest that we've ever had.
Mm-hmm.
Very transparent in both their ministry and their personal life. Um, really a blessing to the body overall. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I can't say enough without I'm really trying to work on my emotions these days, but I don't know. God got me in this season of weeping
It be like
prophet.
that. It really be like that. I
Know
think
what that's about, but Lord help
I'm about to
me.
tell your age, but you know what we think it is.
No, we're not gonna talk about that. But nevertheless, um, but no,
Ooh.
definitely a blessing. They we had them back twice, and that was even great to even have that be the case. And of course, we had really great guests this season. Although it wasn't like large quantity,
Mm-hmm.
the quality and the quantitative and the
Come
revelations
on,
and
birds.
the words that they got to share and plan and they got a chance to spend a lot of time, and I was very grateful for that this
Mm-hmm.
season. Yeah, I mean, cause we had the walking Bible, as you like to call her. We had her too. Yeah, she is a nice prophetic walking Bible verse.
Yes, walking
Yes,
Bible for sure. We got to have the other walking Bible on. I wanted to have
yes,
her on this year. Regina,
yes. Oh yes.
she was on last
She
year, but
was
I want to have
she
her
was
back.
exactly. Exactly. She's a returning guest.
Yes.
But it's been great. We talked about some really great topics, rest being one, and rest was needed for both us physically, mentally,
Mhm.
spiritually, and especially when you're as active as we are, you know. And I feel
That
like
part.
that's something that most of our guests could have related to, and that was something that we stayed on. And we have to keep that at the top of our list is, he tells us to rest in him, but we also have to take rest for our actual physical man as well. Um,
Mhm.
this season was really good. It was really good. We we definitely did it again. Another season
Yeah,
in the book.
Stella did it again. Listen, I'm really grateful. I think I agree. I'm sorry. I'm trying to find this particular text, but it disappeared. So,
Mm-hmm.
um, it's really strange. I guess it's not meant for me to send it there.
That part.
But
Thank you.
hmm,
Said that part. And thank you.
hmm, pretty much. It don't take me long to figure it out. If I try a couple times and it's a no, I'm like, okay, I hear you. I hear you loud and clear. But yeah, so she is on Karika.
I told you.
Man, you did tell us both. You told us, but it's okay. It's okay. It's okay.
The
We
power of the replay button. Bless God.
the power of the replay. Thank you, Facebook. You are saving our lives
Live.
today. Probably literally.
Tip.
Because I'm sure it's gonna be the facts of life when we get to that replay.
That
All
part.
right. So I thought I shared this already, but just in case I didn't, because I don't see it. I
I'm gonna
got
see
one more
what.
share, but this has been an amazing season. Ooh. So I don't want to hear myself. But this has
Mm.
been a really, really amazing season. I fully agree with you. I feel like the Frenches being on changed the pace of the whole show. I think it has definitely been full of insight, full of freedom, full of strategy, like very, very full of strategy in regard to how to heal and what steps to take. I love the testimonies that came forth this season. I love the fact that we had definitely much more engagement from our audience. I'm really excited. I believe that this is another way that the Father is showing how He is about to catapult us into a different place, into a higher place. Some would say it was an ascension. So that was for my
You know
brother
what's funny? I
Derek.
almost wore that shirt. I
Pastor
almost wore
Derek.
that shirt tonight.
For
Seriously.
real.
Yes, 'cause it's
That
one
would
of the
have been
few
dope.
things I have in my parents' house.
I still don't have my shirt. I have no idea where it is. Um,
Let's talk about that.
but we're
Nevertheless.
not gonna talk about that. But we're gonna tell brother. Okay, that's no. We're gonna tell brother how much. I think my I think my platform may have blocked Instagram. I hope you guys are able to. I did want to. I'm glad my phone just told me, but I wanted to also share that we are not live from Instagram at this current time. I'm not sure why, but it looks like the platform is blocking Instagram for whatever reason. So we'll find out about that and get back with you. But I apologize to those who join on Instagram because we do have quite a few viewers that watch through Instagram. So I'm sorry, y'all, but we will be back as soon as this platform allows, the Lord allows. Okay. But I definitely really appreciate this season. It really grew me personally. I don't know about anybody else. I don't know about you, Shar, but I feel like
Mm.
it pushed me um, more. I am grateful that we took a break when Abba said to. It was very hard for me because I am a fan, a very, very strong fan of keeping my word. But when you need rest to be a weapon, it is very, very important that you wield it. And if I did not take the rest that I needed, I would not be learning as much as I'm learning for the Father at this current time. So thank you all for your patience with us. Thank you for riding with us. And now we're going to get to the goods. We are so excited. We have the queen, the apostle, the doctor, the prophet, the mother, the grandmother, all the above. Like she is literally everything.
Literally.
Dr. Prophet, Apostle Anna Stroman in the house tonight. And we
Yes.
are excited. I wish I had my button to do to make the whole but all I got is this.
I had to turn off Carissa.
You was
I
literally
told y'all. Y'all didn't listen.
you sing so bad. Talking about she ugh, that's terrible. I take my crowd cheering back. Let me go give you
Okay.
We're gonna give you this.
Thank you for having me.
That was petty.
Thank you. Wasn't it petty?
You know, I learned today that I got a little petty in me. I don't know if it's new or what, but I needed to go because
Oh
that's
Jesus,
not
let's
good
help.
at all. Listen.
Nah,
Yeah.
nah.
It's not
That
good at
is
all. It's
it's
not
petty.
good. So I was praying about that this morning. I said, "Wait a
Oh,
minute, what is this? That is not me. What is this movement?"
so
But yeah,
before you came on, she did give you great accolades,
I did.
doctor,
Well, thank you. I
You
appreciate
prophet,
weren't
that.
listening because you were listening to Corica, but that's okay. We welcome the mother, the prophet, the
the
apostle,
grandmother,
the
the
everything,
vessel,
the
the
grandmother. The
builder,
she like the queen of grandmothers. Okay, this
baby.
baby, all she do is love on her
It's grand.
grandchildren. It's
It's
an
all
amazing
grand.
thing to watch. Ugh,
And
That
it's
great.
so
I got
beautiful.
two greats too.
oh goodness.
Oh yes, that's right.
Yes.
Great grandmother. Look at the
Mhm.
Lord. I love it. So just introduce yourself to the people, tell them who you are, and then we're gonna jump into this conversation about anxiety, the
Well,
gravity of anxiety.
my clients call me Dr. Anna. I am a therapist and I work with different areas of mental wellness. I don't believe in calling things out as terms of diseases and so forth. So I like to stay on the upward and speaking into the atmosphere on wellness. And so they may have issues that's going on dealing with different parts of uh, their lives, things that may have happened to them when they were young, things that may be happening to them now. And I rely totally on the Ruach HaKodesh, the Spirit of God, for discernment, for enlightenment, for wisdom, for knowledge. And we go from there. So I've been a therapist, oh, I guess I want to say all my life. Um, but I had my own, didn't have my own business until I guess 2 years ago. But I've been working in this field in counseling since college days. And y'all don't need to know how long ago that was. So that's me.
That's you. Okay. I love the way you said that it's a wellness thing because I'm starting to notice, I don't know about anybody else's job or you know, like when you go out or you watch different shows and stuff like that, like I'm starting to notice the importance of wellness, especially mental health, is very, very strong these days. Um, on my job, we have a button now where if you're on a call that kind of wears you out a little bit, you can push that button and take a 5 minute break. You
Oh,
know, and it's called mental. It's like you go away for mental a mental break, and so I think that is so important because mental health is something that will affect our entire being if we're not careful. Um, it affects who we are, it affects how we behave, it affects how we process things, how we relate to other people. Our mental health is very, very important. And I think that it's a major, major concern in regard, especially in the African American community, because we've always been taught that, we're okay. We have to be okay in a lot of ways, especially in the types of climates like the one that we're living in now. We have no choice but to be okay and figure it out. We've always strived to make it through anything and everything as a people, and so um, it having to deal with mental health became a stigma. I was having a conversation with someone today, and they were saying that they didn't want to go to therapy, and for years people would tell them, "Hey, you need therapy." So I'm learning that that is definitely something that we need to work on and talk about. So I'm so glad to have you today. I know you have a bit more to share with us, but I just want to ask the question, like, what is the gravity of anxiety? How do you describe, like, how would you describe how anxiety can affect the lives of, men, women, and children everywhere.
Well, like you were saying, before I go into anxiety, the mind is the focal point of what keeps us all together.
Mm-hmm.
You said something about we have to be okay. I think that's um, one of the issues where people break down because they keep saying, I have to be okay, I have to be okay. And
Mm-hmm.
they're not. So they build up this big facade in front of them, and you see what they we see what they want us to see. There's a
Yeah.
uh, um, um, commercial on TV about this particular drug, and I'm not promoting the drug because I don't promote drugs, but they have the little face in front of them that hides who they really are. When they're out talking to people, they have this little fake face that's up there that they carry around, and you can't really see what's really going on the inside.
Mm-hmm.
What's going on with a lot of people in the work field, a lot of people in the church, a lot of people in our communities, and why there is so much chaos. The word says that the mind is where the enemy attacks us. And so if we realize that, okay, there will be times when we need to shut down, there will be times when we need to rest, there will be times when we need to just be isolated from people, so that we can rejuvenate ourselves, so that we can be okay, and that to realize that it's okay when you're not okay. You know,
Mm-hmm.
the stress of this everyday world wears us down, and we have to have to understand that, okay, I'm not Superman, I'm not Superwoman, Batman, Catwoman, none of them people that they put out, none of the Marvel, I know you love Marvel characters, we're
Yeah.
not in reality Marvel characters, and there are times when we're not okay, and we need to realize that, okay, that's then, but I don't have to stay in that particular position. And so when it
Mm-hmm.
comes to anxiety, those are times when we're not okay, when things have pushed us past our button, when things have happened and we're not quite sure how to deal with it, when we're dealing with fear, when we're dealing with some kind of uneasiness, and we're anxious about how the outcome is going to be, as opposed to sitting back and just working through this thing. And so um, anxiety can be a weapon, if we allow it to overpower ourselves, as opposed
Mm-hmm.
to just something that is happening. The body automatically kicks in adrenaline, and automatically kicks in certain areas of our mind to deal with the events that's happening. And so anxiety can be natural. It's a natural part of us, our defense mechanism. So I
Right.
said a lot, I know. Um, but if we need to be able to understand it, um, and not let it overpower us, but us overpower it.
Yes. I love that. I love that. Shar, you have any thoughts?
Nah, I'm just listening. Take me on in.
One of the things that that came to me while you were talking, when you talked about how it affects, I don't remember the word you used, but it was about movement. And so the thing that came up to me was the impulsivity of movement when you're anxious. Like, it makes you impulsive. And you know, that's one of the things that I have dealt with and sometimes still deal with. Like, I literally have to pace myself to make sure I'm not doing things out of anxiety. Like, I literally all day long have to say, be anxious for nothing, be anxious for nothing, be anxious for nothing, because, and I'm not going to get emotional, but it has become, especially since the pandemic, I believe that anxiety has become such a strong um, concern for our communities, and it definitely has become more prevalent for me. Um, and so it's a constant thing. And if I'm not careful, I am making impulsive decisions, subconsciously doing things that are based on anxiety, and it's not necessarily bad things, but like um you become impulsive in your eating, you become impulsive in your driving, you become impulsive in the decisions you make about spending time with people, or you're fearful about this, you're fearful about that, and so it affects how you respond to everything. And this is why I'm grateful that Abba gave us this conversation, because I think that it's definitely something that affects more people than not. And I think that the high functioning anxiety people that deal with anxiety, like me or like I was, um, they're not even aware of how anxious they are. And it's detrimental um to so many parts of their lives without them even knowing it. I think that it has torn up marriages, it has torn up families, it has caused people to be distant from each other, it has caused people to seclude themselves, to not really deal with conflict well, to not really get to understanding when there are disagreements. I think that the anxiety really, really causes us to move differently, and it affects every area of our lives.
And we have to also realize that anxiety feels different for everybody.
Yeah, for
There's
sure.
no cookie cut pattern that people fall in. Stress can be a significant factor for anxiety. If you're stressed out,
Hmm.
then it makes you get anxious. Um, wanting things to happen a specific way,
Hmm.
futuristic,
Yeah,
um,
that's my
can
issue.
also cause an anxiety, cause you to be
Hmm.
anxious. Well, it's supposed to do it this way. It's supposed to happen this way. It's supposed to happen at this particular time. And you're just, all you're doing is just building up on the stress level and causing the anxiety to worsen. So
Hmm.
we have to watch
Yeah.
all of the different factors that um, come into play with anxiety. We need to just pay attention to our body, pay attention to our mind. I mean, it's really simple. Um, when your heart rate is starting to beat faster, when you're
Hmm.
breathing more than what you should be breathing, when you feel hot, you just all of a sudden not talking about the natural woman's hotness, but when you start to feel these hot flashes all of a
Yeah.
sudden out of nowhere. Um, Pay attention to your body. It means just check yourself out, sit down, cool out, think of
Hmm.
something to put you in a different mindset until you bring your stress level down, until you're able to figure out what you are actually anxious about. It could have been something that happened to you 5 or 6 years ago. That there's a red flag now, and it's making you anxious because something triggered something else.
Yeah.
So the more that we know ourselves, the more we can handle the different things that the different defense mechanisms that our body uses.
Hmm. That's a really good point. The defense mechanisms. Um, that's a really good point. Shar, I see you stirring over there.
Well, y'all brought up. I thought about it. Two things you both said. One being people not wanting to seek help through therapy, and that's something very common for whatever the reasons. I've had people tell me they can't do it because they have a security clearance and they can't say anything, or they can't divulge this, and they would get in trouble, or they would be investigated, that type of thing. And then
That's a good one.
I've had people who have also just not wanting to go because of prideful reasons,
Mhm.
just not thinking that, hey, anybody's out there to help me. And just, letting people know that resources are real and they're tangible. And
Hmm.
then another thing you said was something about just, dang, I lost my thought because my mother in the background playing music and it's messing me up over here. Y'all got to pray for me, okay? He in there going in and talking in tongues, and I think it's a Daryl Coley mini me, and it's not helping me over here. I'm trying to think about anxiety reasons, and it's not. I'm not feeling like anxiety.
That's the perfect timing of our God. Because listen, it
Let me
will
tell
it get
you.
real serious.
But
Anxiety
no,
will
so
make you lose your thought for sure.
I had it. And then, okay, and then anxiety itself, for when you said it might look different for everyone.
Hmm.
I myself 100% can relate to that, especially with stresses. And a lot of people, they don't always know maybe the right words to say, or everybody's become very familiar with mental health per se because it's becoming tools on your jobs and accessibility.
Hmm.
But people are becoming even more familiar with words and the vocabulary of triggers and trauma and stuff like that. And I really think that some people might need the education. And, while we have you, you can teach us some of those things, ma'am.
I with that said, I do have a PowerPoint that has some.
Wait, wait, wait. So before we go there, there was one thing I wanted to say, in response to what Shara said. I think that it not just shows up differently for different people, but it could also show up for you differently, at different points in your life. Um, I'm sorry, I wanted to jump in and say that, but I was responding to the chat. But and I say that because I've experienced that for myself. Like the way I've responded to the way anxiety presented itself when I was in my 20s was different than it was when I was in my 30s. Was different than it was when I was a child. And now that I'm in my 40s, it is majorly different. Like, I mean, majorly different. And it's more prevalent, because of some of the hormone challenges that women in their 40s go through. So I think it's important to also mention, the way you knew that you had anxiety before, it may not look the same as you grow, in age, or grow in environments, grow in experiences. All of that affects the way anxiety shows up in your life. But go ahead, and I got you.
um, Go ahead. Okay, so
I'm sorry.
um, uh, I'm not. There is a definition. I'm going to go to it that they use for anxiety. They said that it is a common mental health condition that is characterized by excessive worry. The next slide, Angie. By fear, by nervousness, and it interferes with your daily life. So if it's something that remember again, anxiety is a natural defense mechanism. Okay, it's natural to get anxious. Now I won't say anxious, but to get nervous in terms of starting a new job, or handling a new project, or meeting new people, or in a crowd where you don't know everybody. um, but if it becomes when it starts to interfere with your daily work, with what you're doing every day, with your being able to talk to people, um, then it becomes a condition. It becomes what they term mental health condition. um,
Mm,
there are different ways to look at it. The feeling of fear, there's dread, uneasiness, sweat, restless, tense, unable to sleep, having a rapid heartbeat, um, your reaction to stress. We talked about some of these. Having a difficult problem at work. We talked about that. Taking a test. I would always get
oh yes.
nervous. A final exam, always. I don't care how many times how long I've studied. I would still be nervous, stressed when it's time to take that test until I have that test in front of me. And then your level goes down. Then you're ready to say, okay, I know this question. Let me put that one aside. And you're ready to move forward with. So it's how you deal with these things. And not allow it to control you. All health issues, mental health issues, come with you not controlling the areas that are impacting insomnia, um, 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 anxiety, fear, loneliness. All of these things are, when they become overpowering to you and take over you mentally, then you know that it's time to get help. Then you know that that's not natural, because it is occupying or consuming all of your thoughts, all of your time. And it's impacting your body. I have some slides on that later that's going to break down how it impacts you mentally, how it impacts you spiritually, and how it impacts anxiety impacts you physically. So those are the things that we need to be aware of. And then my next slide talks about the causes. You wonder, well, um, how does it? What are the causes of anxiety? It varies. Again, it varies from person to person. Some people genetics. Um,
Mm.
it flows in the genes. Sometimes there's imbalance in your brain. That's where they can prescribe certain medication that will help to bring the balance down. Then there, of course, we talked about trauma, the stress. That's the most common. The
Mhm.
life experiences is the most common and impacts, I would say, 95% of the population. There are medical conditions. You know that there are certain have been diagnosed with certain illnesses that some have require surgery, some require medication, some has no medication from it, some is life taking. All of those things, that's all natural for your defense mechanism to bring in anxiousness, to bring in anxiety. And then there are certain medications that you take. We always advise patients to look at the side effects of whatever you're taking, because certain medications can raise your heart level. It can cause dizziness. It can cause some of the other side symptoms of anxiety. So those are some of the general, broad categories of what can cause anxiety. Um, Next slide we'll go into. I want to go down to, actually, Angie, go down to stress and anxiety. Yes, thank you. Because there are three different categories. Situational stress, that's when you've experienced some kind of life change or some kind of traumatic situation. There's long term anxiety. That's when you know that you need help, you need therapy, you need someone to help you manage, someone to help you control the anxiety that you're going through. And it's something when it's constant, it doesn't let up, it doesn't ease up. You don't see any way of not feeling these symptoms that you're going through. And there's panic attacks. A lot of people have panic attacks. And that comes from some kind of sudden or intense, uncontrollable fear or anxiety.
Mm.
And it doesn't, it stems from something that may have happened when you were younger, something that may be going on in your life now, something that you cannot put your finger on. Panic attacks, sometimes you can't even put your finger on why it's causing it. But all
Mhm.
you do is you're feeling the symptoms of it: heart palpitations, sweating, racing thoughts, shaking, dizziness. All of those are panic attacks, and a person has to stop instantly and gain control of their mind. Believe it or not, it starts at the mind. You got to calm your thoughts down. You got to calm what's going on in your mind for your body to react to it as well. So these are some of the different kinds of stress and anxiety that happen circumstantially, or happen based on circumstances, based on uh, brain chemistry, etc., that I wanted to bring out.
I have a quick question about the panic attacks. So um if you have panic attacks and you find yourself overwhelmed, how do you tell the difference between like panic attack that's induced by anxiety and a panic attack that is induced by like a nervous breakdown?
Nervous breakdown. Okay, by anxiety is it just happens suddenly. A
Mhm.
nervous breakdown, you will have symptoms that are mounting up. It's not a sudden just automatically breakdown. It's things that have been occurring that have all of a sudden reached a peak, which
Okay.
takes you into a nervous breakdown.
Okay. Okay. I asked that question because I think that it feels like to me, it's a very fine line between the two, and nobody really knows what a nervous breakdown looks like. So I know for me, when I've had some panic attacks, I've been afraid that I was having a nervous breakdown. So I thought that would be a good question to ask, so that people know,
It's
that.
it's an escalation of things
Okay.
that have occurred for you to
Mhm.
just have a nervous break, for you just to break down. And it probably started with something small that mounted up, and it started to get bigger and uncontrollable.
Mhm.
And uh, uh, the mind can play tricks on you as well. It can make it more um, 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 uh, bigger. I want to say big, grandiose than what it
Mhm.
actually is, until the point where you can't take it anymore and you have a nervous breakdown. So
Got
it's
it.
not something that's instantaneous.
Got it. Got it. Okay. Are you ready for the next one?
Yeah. Um,
Okay.
the next one is going to actually talk about the effects on your body. This is, I got, it was so much, so many different effects that anxiety can uh, impact your body. It's two slides of it, but I'm not going to go through all of them. But these are different effects that are different for different people. That, some people may not have a feeling in their stomach. Some people might not be lightheaded or dizzy. Some people
Mhm.
might have the pins and needles. Some people are restless, on edge, headaches, backache. These are all symptoms. Um,
Pins and needles. That's interesting.
yeah.
Okay.
Um, Thumping, irregular heartbeat, or increased heartbeat, sweating, hot flushes, sleep problems. That's one of the biggest things that people will attribute to anxiety. Grinding your teeth, especially at night. Um,
Mhm.
those are things that have happened during the day, and you have not allowed your mind to settle down, to rest, to come back to a plateau. And so it comes over in your sleep, and you're grinding. Your dreams are probably somewhere in the mist, and you're grinding your teeth as a result of it. Um,
Oh
there's
wow.
the next slide also talks about trembling, feeling weak or tired, have problems concentrating or thinking about other things than the present worry. Instead of your mind is everywhere. Anxiety will take you. That's why it takes you to the future as opposed to you staying in the present, because you're thinking about
Mhm.
so many other things, and it's bounding up, which can lead to um, an attack, a mental breakdown, um, having difficulty controlling your worry, avoiding things, or not paying attention to any specific triggers that you may know that you have. A lot of people don't know all of their triggers. Some things are hidden sometimes in your subconscious. Um,
Mhm.
Needing to use the bathroom more than you usually do, changes in your sex drive, and then, of course, the panic attacks. So all of those, again, different. It's different based on the individual. Also based on the result or the cause of the anxiety.
Oh wow. So I have another question that's coming up for me. Um, how would one tell, like, if their partner, close friend, family member, children, like, what would be some signs that one can look into um another person and see, the levels of anxiety that they might be struggling with?
So all of those things that I just listed are not just for individual, but you will be able to tell it from somebody. The person keeps can't sleep at night,
Mhm.
and are up and are walking the floors. A lot of people talk in their sleeps a lot as a result of anxiety, things that they have experienced during the day, and so it manifests in talking in their sleep and whatever that's going on. Um,
Mhm.
uh, yeah, of course, if you have a mate, a partner, and there's a change in their sex drive, one of the things you want to ask: Are you okay? You're stressed out, or you got anxiety? Those are all
Are
things
you okay?
you can look at and see. if there's something that's going on that they may not be paying attention to, but you're picking up the signs because you know of how it can affect the body. So all of those things are not just individual, but it's also something that you're, especially with children, you can really tell. I wouldn't call that anxiety for kids. Um, I would call it more um, hmm, what's the word I want to use, Lord? Adjustment, um, new environments.
Mhm.
I would think I would for little ones it would be more stress as opposed to anxious anxiety because they think differently. Believe
Mhm.
it or not, a lot of things don't hit them like they do adults.
Mhm.
They are more open to things unless it's hitting them personally or hitting the family member or they're seeing something that's cruel or something is unusual or of course the bullying and so forth in school. So I would say they are more stressed out than having really anxiety or panic attacks.
Mhm.
Not saying that there aren't some kids that do that do have it, but they are older. I would say maybe 9, 10, 11,
Mhm.
more so than the little ones, because the little ones are they're absorbing everything. It doesn't really hit them as hard, you know.
Mhm. Yeah, for sure. I
It's,
agree with that 100%. Even though there are some children who struggle with high levels of anxiety, it's usually like completely clear that they have anxiety because it's like they are overwhelmed, they're extra angry. Like you can definitely tell the difference when it's stress versus anxiety in children. Um I want to ask you though, like when it comes to the people who are high functioning in their anxiety, like they're not really aware, like we were talking about the Superman men and the super women. How do you adjust to that? Because I think that we have a lot of high functioning people who are struggling with anxiety, and they're either in denial about it or they aren't aware. You know, of how it's affecting their lives. What would you speak? I mean, what would you say in regard to those people?
so wake up, slow down, and pay attention.
Wake up and pay attention.
You know your body. Everybody
Mhm.
knows their body.
Very
And
true.
when you have some people function on high levels. I mean, that's their normal um, um, mode of operation.
Hmm.
But when you're constantly thinking about your job 24/7, you go to bed, you wake up, and all day long you're worrying about a project, you're worrying about the job. That's a trigger. That's a sign something's not
Hmm.
you're not having any downtime. You're not relaxing your mind. You're not
Yeah.
focusing on something other than that job. So you just got to pay attention to yourself. You know yourself.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah. I agree with that 100%. It's this funny saying we have at work right now because we were just trained on another level of the phone system. And so being a specialized agent brings a whole new level of stress. And I realized my dreams have been shifted. Like, I don't know if I'm talking about sleep or what, but I will wake myself up making sounds and I'm dreaming about the calls and people upset. So it's really real, and it could be anything that triggers it. Because I was fine when I was on Helpline One, but as you grow in responsibility or those changes, they definitely can shift anything. Shar, did you have any thoughts on what Dr. Anna has been sharing with us?
Thank you for the additional list of I guess you could call them outward signs of stress and anxiety.
Hmm.
One that I didn't see up there that for me what ended up being I ended up breaking out in hives and I would just swell. Like I
Ooh.
would break out. And I thought it was allergies at one point, and they told me no, it's the stress from my job.
Mm,
So everybody, like you said, everybody's different. Bodies respond differently. So, like you said, there is no cookie cutter sign for one specific person. It's really going to vary. So I tell people, if you if you start having signs of, like, hypertension on a regular basis, or you're getting migraines all the time, or you start to slur your speech, things like that, that is really your body telling you to wake up and go seek help. And it might even be beyond therapy. You might need to go to the doctor.
mhm,
Actually, I won't advise it. Go see a primary care. And if you don't have one, go to emergency room.
mhm,
Because those are not simple everyday signs that we should ignore. And I know a lot of times my issue was I ignored them for the sake of my job, which is why I had to change jobs. I couldn't kill myself anymore, and I was literally starting to develop other serious health conditions
mhm,
that went beyond stress and anxiety. On your list, it went way beyond mental health. Yeah, it went beyond all of that, and drugs and beyond. So I'm very grateful that, people get a chance to see, hey, if you start to see any of these things, take this as your warning. Don't let it get to the extreme. You know,
mhm.
Absolutely.
talk to someone.
Absolutely.
Talk to someone. It's very important, communication, and just, be a listening ear if you can. But professionals are they're necessary for a reason. They've been trained. Find a
Absolutely.
professional if you can. But yeah, no, I don't have anything else to add. But thank you for your
I
list.
know
I do.
one of the things that when I was stressed out, because stress is the sister of anxiety, um, I looked in the mirror and I would see myself the same size that I was, but in actuality, I was like two, three sizes larger than what I really was. And it was because I was eating and overeating. And
Yes.
mentally, I'm still seeing myself and not seeing the stress that was um, coming out as a result of by overeating. That was helping to relieve some of the stress, but it was blowing me
Mhm.
up.
No,
And
Yeah.
then when I finally realized, oh my God, when you no longer wear those same clothes that you no
no,
longer wear, you're like, oh, what in the world? How did I get this way? Where did it come from?
exactly.
You know,
Mhm.
it's
You begin
by
to
that
wear it.
time, yeah, you're like, okay, check, check. We got to check. We got to wake up. We
Mhm.
got to change up. We got to realize stress and anxiety will put things make you change your eating patterns, your sleeping patterns, your
Right,
talking and being around other people,
right.
even socializing. All of that comes into
All of it.
play.
You are
Mhm.
so right.
Spirituality, being you don't even know if you can hear from the Lord no more because you're blocking your earwaves and all of that stuff.
Hmm.
So
And that's so true.
Very true.
Very
Exactly
true.
true.
I think all of us have firsthand in one or the other, the sisters.
So
All of us.
listen,
Yeah. Listen.
listen, and I'm glad you mentioned the hearing, the clarity part, because as Shara said, like, there are times when my memory, I can't remember nothing. I noticed that I started stuttering again. I hadn't stuttered since I think I was in my early 20s. And I noticed that I started stuttering again. And I know that it's anxiety. I know it because um, there hasn't been nothing wrong with my brain for all this time. And so for it to come back, I know that that's where the stuttering came from when I was younger. And it is back because of the level of anxiety that I've been managing. And for me, I know that it's hormonal, but anything, when I say anything, if you aren't aware that you're dealing with anxiety, because I think for me, I didn't really know what it was until I started seeing Dr. Anna. Um, I think that was 2019 when I started seeing her, and I realized how much anxiety really had affected my life and how much trauma had affected my life. I was not aware. Like, I was one of them super human people. I always knew I needed therapy. Let's be clear. I was not. I was not questioning that. And the funniest part about it is that I went to see her because I felt like I was overly angry,
Mhm.
not overly anxious. And so it really exposed what was really happening and what was really going on, because she was like, you ain't got no anger problem, but you got this problem. You got this problem, you got that problem. But I thought I had a problem with anger. Like, I was literally thinking, okay, I need to go see somebody before I end up in jail. And she was like, nah, that's not the issue. So we'll be focused on one part of us, not realizing there's a whole nother issue happening that is affecting every area of our lives. And I love the fact that I was led to call this episode The Gravity of Anxiety, because it's a really, really big thing. And it affects so much: your mental state, your physical state, your emotional state, relationships, your work ethic. Because if you stressed out at work because you a specialized agent, like you're not gonna want to get up and go to work every day. And so it's it's a real thing.
Absolutely, absolutely. And we just like, again, it's stop walking around in a daze. Stop
Mhm.
walking around not paying attention to yourself. Um, that's how so many other parts of our bodies gets clogged up. The hearts, the circulation, the blood pressure, all of that gets clogged up, gets escalated because
Mhm.
we're not paying attention.
Diabetes.
And diabetes, and our body gives us symptoms.
It
Our
do.
body will give it to us. We just have to pay attention to it.
It do. Do you think your feet can grow because of anxiety?
I don't think so.
Yeah. No, I'm gonna say yes because of the weight. The
That
weight, the
part,
weight
yes.
is rough.
That's very
So yes.
true.
Well then yes.
That's a big yes.
And
Because
that's
I'm
a
like,
yes.
are my feet growing? But I have definitely gained weight in this time of anxiety. Like, I'm really struggling because it has affected so much of my life. Like, I'm so grateful. And I am in full transparency now that one of the reasons why I asked that question about the nervous breakdown is because I really didn't understand. And Char is my witness. I thought I was having a nervous breakdown, and I still don't know. I'm like, was it a panic attack? Or was it a nervous breakdown? Like, what was happening in that moment? And
It probably was a
it was
panic
both.
attack. A nervous breakdown. You don't come back. It's no comeback
That's
instant.
what I thought, and I was
Yeah.
like, I can't, because I felt like the enemy was telling me you're having a nervous breakdown so that I could have a
Nervous
nervous breakdown.
breakdown.
And
Mhm.
so I was like rebuking the devil. Hey, almost famous.
Oh, I ain't seen him in a
Yes,
while.
it is
Welcome.
definitely necessary. Thank you so much for joining us. Um, I love you. Thank you. It's so good to see you on here. But yeah, I definitely was freaking out. And Char, like I said, she's my witness, because Holy Spirit was like, call Char. I was like, okay, because something is wrong. And it was the worst panic attack that I've ever had in my life. But it was also a release of all the grief that I was experiencing.
Mhm.
And so when they started happening more and more, like after that third one, I was like, okay, something is seriously wrong. And I had to shut down. And I was like, what do I need to do? And Abba was like, you need to stop doing everything for a minute,
Mhm.
and only ministry, that's close to home. And so I literally had to shut down all my social pages. Um, and Char's my witness. I didn't take as many calls. I had to stop seeing, like, drastically stop seeing certain people, to the point where there was one couple I was counseling that I just kept missing my appointments with them because I did not have the mental capacity to talk to them. I didn't have the mental capacity. Like, it was affecting my business, it was affecting everything. And it is a great gravity
Mhm.
when the weight, of course, gravity is something that pulls you down, right? It keeps us on the ground, but anxiety, it will keep you on the ground. It'll lay you on the ground. It'll wrestle you on the ground. Like it's something that we have to, be aware of. And I want you to spend the last, like, maybe the next 5 minutes, discussing how to break free from gravity, and how to, like, some strategies that we can use to help us when we have those panic attacks. And I can bring your thing back up. I just felt like we were in discussion mode. um
Also, I wanted to say, Angie, the field that you're in, I think you called it, what did you call it? Something
Specialized
specialist,
agent.
specialized
That's
agent.
what
Right?
one of my coworkers calls it. I'm a specialized agent.
So the specialized agents, therapists, counselors,
Hmm.
evangelists, um, anyone that deals with people, and issues or problems can come up against the transference. Uh,
Hmm.
their issues are so much that sometimes they try to transfer it over to you. And
Oh
you,
yeah.
if we don't watch ourselves, we'll pick up that heavy weight of what they're
Hmm.
going through, as opposed to, no, we're not supposed to take on that weight. We're just supposed to advise them how they should get rid of it, or what the
Yeah.
strategy they should go to help to get rid of it. And so that we have to caution ourselves, so be careful of ourselves that we don't take those burdens on and add them to our own shoulders, because that can also cause your stress level to go up higher and higher, and you're not having you're going from one patient to another patient to another patient. And if you take on all of those burdens, you're not going to be able to help anybody, including yourself. So I just
Yeah.
wanted to bring that up too.
Yes, Mikey, I know it's you. He said it's Mikey Green. But yes, I agree 1000%. Like, so hard, because for me, it's not even just FEMA, it's also counseling, because people are heavy with needs and heavy with what they're struggling with. And I'm gonna put your PowerPoint back up. But heavy with what they're struggling with, and their marriage is heavy in what they're struggling with. As because I also counsel my mentees and stuff like that. So Shar will tell you, she's always my living witness. I definitely have been in the seat of taking on too much, um, taking on way too much of what people are dealing with, and it really will affect you. It really will. So that is a great point. Thank you for highlighting that, because I'm a living witness. Like, you cannot take on other people's burdens to the point of your detriment.
Absolutely. And in terms of treatments, go down. There's a slide. You go down to two slide. Go down some more. The more. There you are. Okay, treatments. There are different types of treatments that we can deal with in terms of helping ourselves. Sometimes, if we catch it early on, and we are paying attention to ourselves, we can get what we call self help resource, which is, first of all, you're going to go. It's what your general practitioner might offer you. They might tell you there's some books, some workbooks that you can read through. That would help you with different exercises in terms of breathing, in terms of allowing yourself to relax. Um, so you can do those if you're not at a level that really requires somebody to help you to go through those things.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so the first treatment option is what your general practitioner offers you, because you're going to go to that person. They're going to do an assessment of where you are and what's going on, and then they can help you better decide what the treatment is that you want to go through next. So
Mm-hmm.
workbooks is one of the ways that you can help yourself. Find some books in the library. People don't go to the library anymore. They go all on the web. Um, or bookstore. So you can do that and find some things, techniques. These aren't treatments, these are techniques, more so to help you to lower your stress level, to help you to pay attention when you feel anxious, and those types of things. The second thing would be, um, where am I? Talking there would be go to the next slide is
I
therapy.
thought it says it
Finding
doesn't.
someone to talk to help you figure out what actually is going on. Because sometimes it could be mental imbalances. It's not just you thinking that you're stressed out. It could be some other things going on, medications that you're taking, some other things that could be going on that's
Mhm.
causing you to be having these figures. So some of the most of the therapists were using with anxiety and stress is called cognitive behavior therapy, and it helps you to focus on your thoughts. It helps you to focus on your beliefs, your attitudes, and how those things impact your feelings and your behavior. And then it teaches you skills for dealing with different problems. Sometimes
Mhm.
you just don't have the skill to know how in the world do I deal with the fact that my sister is crazy? How do I deal with that? What do I do with those things? How do I get
Yeah.
her to understand she's crazy and get her to the doctor?
Listen, that part right there.
Those are things that are funny, but they are real life situations.
Absolutely.
Amen and glory.
1000%.
I was
Like,
having that
how do you
conversation
get
today.
people
Today.
who need medicine to take their medicine, Jesus?
One time. Don't take it when you
How?
want to. Take it when you're supposed to.
Yes, that part. That is a very difficult thing. Like, oh my gosh, because especially like if it's a person that's schizophrenic or like they have they're paranoid about things, so they don't like taking medicine. Like that is a real big issue.
It really
Um
is.
taking on the weight of
Taking
of
medication.
trying to, like, I love that song and I keep talking about it on this podcast because it's really real. But it Maxwell says in his song, I go insane crazy sometimes trying to keep you from losing your mind. Like it's really real because we take on the
The
the struggles
caregiver.
of
The
others. Yeah.
caregiver phase.
Hmm.
You had a
Caregiver,
Absolutely.
yes, that's really good.
whole
The weight
keeping
of
on
care,
the
that's a
whole
gravity.
baby.
Right.
Okay.
And
Gravity
then
you
there's
can't.
another therapy that's called applied relaxation therapy that which just helps you to relax your muscles. Especially when you're in situations where you would normally be stressed out, you can apply these techniques or these sessions, these therapy sessions, to help you not to stress out, but to handle the situation without it blowing up or causing you stress or causing you to be anxious. Of course, medication. Sometimes, if you're it's past the level of therapy or past the level of look of resources in terms of books and so forth, and you require medication, it's the doctor, again, you're dealing with your general practitioner first. They should be advising you whether or not you need to see a psychiatrist or a psychologist, or even your general practitioner sometimes can prescribe you some medication that will help to just keep your stress level at a minimum. Um,
Hmm.
uh, and then, of course, there's the Word of God. That's the mightiest thing in dealing with anything dealing mental, anything dealing with your mind. First Peter 5:7 says to cast all your anxiety on him because he
Yes.
cares for you. So if you know how to do that, because some people don't know how to cast their cares on him, if you know how to do it, then do it. If you don't, then you're going to have to spend time with your pastor, your apostle, your minister, your evangelist, your word of God, um, a sister in Christ, somebody that can help you um, study that word and learn how to cast those cares on God, because his shoulders are a lot broader than ours.
They really are. I love that scripture because it says he cares for you, and Abba gave me an understanding of what that means. Because when you care for, and Shara was about to talk, I wanted to get her to talk about that a little bit more. But when you care for someone, it's like you're caring in on their behalf. You're taking care of things that they can't take care of themselves. You are signing paperwork, or you're feeding them in the way they can't feed themselves. You're making sure you're communicating for them. You're doing all these things on behalf of the person. And so when he says cast all the, and one text says the whole of your care, that means whatever you think, whatever you're concerned about, everything you care about, cast it on to me because I care for you. It's I'm standing in the gap for you. I am taking over every care you have and I am handling it for you. And so that's why I want that's one of my favorite scriptures to confess and to meditate on because when you really thinking about it that way, you don't feel as alone because the loneliness is definitely one of the biggest things that cause me anxiety. Because I've just spent a lot of time by myself in my lifetime. And so when you have that fear or you have that concern, but you're thinking about the fact that, you're never alone. You think you're meditating on the word or you're remembering who you have in your corner. Um, it is an antidote. It's definitely an antidote to the gravity of what you're processing in the moment.
Was Shara going to say something?
I was hoping she would. I wanted
I
her to speak more
can.
on the caregiving thing.
Um, being newer in that space is like just as people around me are maturing and just having to step in. The one word that God Abba keeps highlighting for me is advocate.
Mm,
He is the greatest advocate on our behalf. When you were reading over First Peter 5:7, that's what came to me. It was like he advocates. The word tells you that the Holy Spirit makes moanings, and when you don't have the words, and I have found him to be advocating for me in so many ways in this season. Like I don't think people really understand, like, for things that people used to be able to do, now you're doing it for them. I mean, whether it's reading a document,
mhm.
wiping them because they can't wipe themselves, bathing them, you know, spoon feeding people, like literally it's the
Yeah.
simplest things. And it's made me so much more grateful to God for every day that He gives me.
That's
For
good.
the act, I remember in the old school we used to pray, I thank you for the activity of my limbs, waking up in my right mind.
Mhm.
I understand the fullness of it then, but I
Mhm.
am grateful for it now
That part.
because it's like, God, thank you. And if you don't know someone who has ever cared or you don't have anybody to care for, I tell you, volunteer. Go to any of these homes. It will shift your whole perspective of life.
Mhm.
It will
Absolutely.
shift your whole entire perspective of life. Your gratefulness, I promise you, you will not complain another day.
Mhm.
We'll count it
Absolutely.
all joy. Count it
Absolutely.
all
Count it whole.
joy, baby.
Listen, because there is nothing
The
worse off
testing,
than you.
baby. The testing of your trials. It's a testing of everything. Testing of your patience. Testing of your strength, your fortitude, mental. Oh my God, mental fortitude in these days. It's a new thing I gotta pray for now.
And
It's
it's
new.
also giving back to the kingdom. You know that
Exactly.
when you're going out caring for others and just stepping out and being there for
Outside of
somebody
yourself.
else.
Outside
That's
of yourself.
yeah.
Selflessness.
Mhm.
He called us to be fishers of men. And these days, we are in the days of Noah, if you have
Yeah.
not noticed.
If you have not noticed.
These are the days of Noah, baby. Yes.
I
Mhm.
don't know about Noah because ain't no flood coming. We might
Look,
have to go past that.
you, look,
Yeah.
look. Well, who thinks you wanted to be? John the Baptist?
We in Revelation. We are
Well,
in
Elijah. Elijah
Okay.
for sure, because
Okay.
the like the old song says, "No more water but fire this time."
yep. And,
Look,
and we can hold off on the fire. They can't even handle the fire in California and all these down
they
there.
got some now in North Carolina. Did you see them? Did you see the new fires in
Yes.
North
Mhm.
Carolina?
Yes.
Every
Okay, y'all
time
keep
I see
praying.
them
Keep praying.
that mess, I'm like, "Dang, them old songs was prophetic, wasn't they? This is
Huh.
crazy."
They
Yes.
still they still true. They still Rhema
Mhm.
now. Okay.
That's
That part,
But
but
no, that's all I have to say. But literally, just not only take care of yourselves, take care of each other. That
mhm.
is that's the season we're in. Taking care of one another. The word talks about caring for your neighbor, loving your neighbor like yourself, and that has a whole new meaning to me. Okay,
yes.
that has a whole new meaning.
Yeah,
But
me too.
it, no, I had
So
nothing
it's
else.
funny you're saying that because God, I have had me put on. I have another hat that I wear as a chaplain, and in this season, He has me going back into not the hospitals this time, but I'm actually going into hospices and talking to those who medicine can no longer do anything for.
Mm,
And so, one of this particular home that I was visiting last week, I went in and saw two different young ladies and just sat down and talked to them. You know, the families don't come visit that often. Sometimes some of them have dementia, um, but they are so excited just to have somebody to just come in and sit and talk and,
Hmm.
anything. Just listen to them going back and talk about their childhood or things that they can remember back in the day. Puts a
Hmm.
smile on their face. And
yeah,
so I just, what you're saying is so true. It just, it's more meaningful to be able to give back to those others because as we give to them, they fill us up, whether we
right.
know it or not. You know,
Yeah,
it's not just a one-way thing. It comes back to us.
Exchange. It's an exchange. It
Yes.
really is.
absolutely is. Yeah. Yeah, I definitely experienced that with some of my calls sometimes where some of the parents have to lean on their children or their brothers and family to take care of them, but then there are some that don't have anybody.
Have
And
anybody.
so the scripture that kept coming up to me while both of you were talking was iron sharpens iron. And I am definitely at a point, and I've told you both this, at a point in my life where I realize I need a community of people that love me. I need to be surrounded by them. I need time with them. I need to be comforted by them. I need and it's crazy for me to say that because I was always one of those people who was like, "Nah, I'm good," because I didn't want the disappointment of rejection. But now Abba has brought me to a place where I understand that I need to be sharpened. I can't be iron, you know, going out in this world helping people heal if I can't heal myself, if I'm not
Mhm.
using these strategies for my own life. And so it's imperative that we understand the gravity of what we're going through. As Dr. Anna said earlier, listen to your body. Listen to what is
Absolutely.
speaking to you. Listen to your mind. Pay attention to your speech. Pay attention to your reactions. What are you doing? How are you impulsive? How are you moving? All of these things are important, but you also need to be surrounded by people to be like, hey, why do you do that? Something's wrong with you. That's the
Say
kind
it
of
out of love. You got to say it out of love, though.
That's the kind of friends I got. They be like, "What's wrong with you? Like, why are you doing that?" Especially my cousin. My cousin be like, "Girl, what is going on?"
You gotta love
And
her.
I need it. I need it so much, And so, especially in this season of my life, and so I want to encourage you. First, I want to thank you, Dr. Anna. You
Yes.
were impeccable today. I really loved everything you shared. I know we went on a little longer today, guys, but the gravity of anxiety needed a
It was
long
worth
conversation.
it, baby. It was worth it.
And I'm so grateful to everybody that joined and
Yes.
everyone that is watching the replay. I just really, as Paul would say, beseech you, therefore, brethren, to
Baby.
really, really, really consider the gravity of the anxiety in your life, the gravity of anxiety in those around you. Because I'm telling you, it could be a lonely battle to fight something like this and not really know what to do. So I hope you guys grew from these strategies that Dr. Anna has provided for us. And if you need prayer, if you need to talk, just hit us up. You can inbox me on any of these platforms. I don't know how YouTube works, but I think you can comment and then I can see the comments. But we want to, hear from you if you have any problems. We will support you by giving you resources and referring you to people who can help you. Dr. Anna is a great resource. Oh, this is a different platform. I'm sorry, Dr. Anna. I forgot to type. I thought I had it already, but you know what? I'm gonna type it real fast so that the people.
can have ways to get in contact with you.
Yes.
Oh, I was wondering,
Yeah,
I was saying, what is she? What she? Okay.
that's
Because
why.
I
Oh,
had it saved on the other one.
yeah. Our last platform allow
And
you
ministry, right?
to just have it flash
Ministry.
across the screen. We
Yeah.
working with
I
different features. We
look.
trying to reach more, so it's a little different.
Yeah.
That's
I can ministry, right? Not ministries, because I make that mistake.
Right, ministry.
Okay.
Thank
So
you.
just in case anybody wants to email her, her email is icanministry@outlook.com. She's also on Facebook as Anna Stroman and Instagram as Stroman Anna, right?
Yep.
But you can reach her best by her email. Listen, this baby love
Baby,
her email.
baby.
first, the first line of defense. Okay, so if you want to reach out
We
to her,
old school. We old school. What can I
yeah.
say?
Look, it work. If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yes, yes. If you want to contact her for sessions, she is a licensed. I was at her graduation. She got the real diploma.
Paper. That paper.
And she also has helped me personally. So I always vouch for her and her gift. She's also very strong in spirituality, as far as understanding the things of Abba, Yahweh. That's who we serve. I don't know
Amen.
about you guys, but if you want somebody who is a believer and who can guide you spiritually while they help you with your mental, physical, and emotional health, she is definitely on that level as well. She also has resources if you want other people.
Yeah.
And then between Shara and I, we also have options as well. So please feel free to reach out. You do not have to deal with the gravity of anxiety on your own. We are here. We love you. God loves you. And
Yes.
we are going to untether from this anxiety, y'all. I'm excited. I'm really excited. Because we're gonna be free. I just declare that and believe it, and we're gonna live it out, and it's gonna be what it is. So thank you so much, Dr. Anna, again. Thank you, Shara. This was excellent, an excellent way to end the season.
It was.
And just remember, like, you can untether from anything that is holding you bound. You can untether from every spiritual force, every emotional force, every traumatic force, every physical force, regaining your health back. Like, we on a journey, all three of us. I'm trying to tell you, we on a journey back to health, fullness, wholeness, and complete health. So remember, you can get up and walk from anything that has tethered you to the ground. So we love you. Thank you for watching, and let's untether together. We'll see you guys next season. Good night.